Yo, what's up, YouTube fam? It's your boy Chin the Man, and today we are going to be talking about my experience in the state of New York in a place called Long Island. If you are ready to hear this experience, make sure you stay tuned till the end. Day 1. On my first day of the trip to Long Island, in the morning I woke up early with my dad and we went to go get breakfast at the Y Missing Restaurant and Bakery. But the owner was so kind there that he offered everything else for free without having us pay, considering it a gift for my dad and I. After we had breakfast, I drove all the way to Long Island, but it required going past the city of New York. And New York itself was a very interesting place to drive. And as we went to Long Island, there was a lot of traffic there, and we had to go past the Brooklyn Bridge. So as I drove, I was too much of traffic, and I was waiting for the adventure to begin, and I was really looking forward to being able to experience a whole new level of a place. Long Island, here we come. Once we reached the hotel in Long Island, we went straight inside and then we ordered pizza. And the pizza actually costed over $30, which was actually quite expensive for a pizza. And when the guy came and delivered it to us, we had the pizza. The pizza wasn't in the best quality. For the price it was, the quality of the pizza didn't meet the expectation due to it being so oily, and it was then the mushrooms in the pizza not being so tasty. So then after that, it was just nothing much we did. And then later on, we went to go get dinner outside. And the dinner wasn't bad, but then also wasn't great either. And at first, when we went to Long Island, the nighttime in Long Island is actually pretty safe, and it feels a lot more safer than the city of New York itself. Due to being an island and being less populated. So here's to the next adventure. Day 2. This was the first ever place we went to on our Long Island trip. Here we are at the Avalon Nature Center. For starters, this place looked amazing. It had so many trees and a blue sky. Even though my dad said the best time to come was in fall and spring, winter also wasn't a bad time after all. The view was actually one of the first ever times we saw in a place of New York, especially the state. The nature preserve itself felt pretty big because there was a lot of walking we had to do, and there was a few places we had to explore. And the places are only just so fun. And there's the only thing I've learned is nature is so powerful and we are so tiny compared to it. When we first came to the Avalon Nature Preserve, we went past a lake, and the lake had ducks in it, and the ducks in that lake were actually pretty charming, even though I didn't see them properly enough. That they was pretty good. The lake itself looked pretty beautiful from a faraway distance. Because we didn't have a map on our way, it was so confusing of a route, but somehow there were maps on alternative stops, and we got to see where we were at. So basically, in this nature preserve, there are a few places that can tell us where we are at and the specific name of the places. The 4 places in the Avalon Nature Preserve are Forest Sanctuary, Hilltop Meadow, Mill Pond, and Coastal Corridor. Not only was there nature in the Avalon Nature Preserve, but there was also artifacts and wildlife. Wildlife is generally pretty beautiful to see, and you should always appreciate it. Our next place after the Avalon Nature Preserve was a place called the Long Island Museum, which was in a place called Stony Brook. Stony Brook is a hamlet in New York, and the Avalon Nature Preserve is also in Stony Brook too. It was another experience coming up. We're now in the Long Island Museum. Let the fun begin. The moment I entered the museum in Long Island, also known as the Long Island Museum, I was in for a historical experience. The place in Long Island is one of the most historical I've ever been to, and it's showing a lot of historical artifacts, such as horse carriages, and also it was so colorful in choices. Do you like the color of the artifact? And I love the museum choice, and definitely it was a place to visit, and I highly recommend you visit if you get the chance, because you'd never want to miss out on all the fun in Long Island or New York in general. Not only was the museum in Long Island so historical, but it had a variety of different artifacts and different drawings, and the drawings in that museum were absolutely stunning, and they were very captivating to see. And of course, not only that, but the visual choices was amazing too, just like any other artifact. When it comes to having a place for attracting visitors, the place should be vibrant, and it should be very good, and it should have a good experience and have things that appeal to the audience. So the more the appealing, the more interesting it is, the better the better attracting it is, and there's more visitors that come along to visit it. After the museum, we attempted to go see a lighthouse, but we didn't know how to get in, so we went out. After coming a far distance away from the lighthouse, which we couldn't see, we went to a Chinese restaurant, and the food was actually pretty good. The buffet is good, and I generally love to eat buffets, so buffets are generally my favorite type of restaurant. Once we were done eating lunch, my dad and I went back to the hotel where we relaxed for a little bit. Once my dad and I were back home, he was actually thinking of another idea, like a parade or any type of light show that was happening, in order to make the best use of this Long Island trip instead of just sitting in the hotel and doing nothing all day. So at that time, once my dad was thinking about a light show, I was actually looking up some options, and when I found a light show at Jones Beach State Park, we vowed to go for that as it was only around 40 minutes away from where we lived. And I was in for another Christmas holiday, even though it was Thanksgiving, another Christmas, themed drive, even though it was not Christmas at the time. Once I arrived at the light show, I was in for a delightful surprise. Although the ride was very confusing, it was ready to be fun.
Serving Long Island with home heating oil for 40. And Santa Claus is coming round. The Christmas snow is right on the ground. When old Santa gets into town, he'll be coming down the chimney down. He'll be coming down the chimney down. It's the holiday season. And Santa Claus has got a toy for every good girl.
As the drive-through light show progressed and went on, I was in for more surprises with more colorful lights. The color of the lights was absolutely stunning, and if I had the chance to do this again, I would surely do this again. Now, since it was a drive-through, you had to get through, and in that sense, when we had to change our FM radio, that's when we actually got the feel of the Christmas vibe for this Christmas light show, even though, again, it wasn't Christmas at the time I went to. They still had some Christmas themed. Once that light show was over, my dad and I went to the grocery store, and then after that I went back home. Man, that show was fun. Day 3, the last day of the trip. On the last day of the trip, my dad and I attempted to go to a botanical garden, and although we tried to go, we didn't know how to get in, so eventually we ended up going straight back home, and on the way we found a restaurant to eat, and then eventually I went back home. Man, that trip was so fun. It was so diverse, and I went to 3 places in one day, which was awesome. And it's always good to be able to experience things while you can, because you never know what life holds, and you never know what the future is going to hold, or you'll never know if you'll ever get the chance to experience such magical things again. So overall, the experience was fun. The hotel was really fun. Although it was expensive, I got good quality breakfast, such as like eggs and fried breakfast potatoes and yogurt and all this type of stuff. Those were really good, and I would definitely come back to Long Island again. If you enjoyed this video, or if you've ever been to Long Island, please comment and tell me your experience, and thank you so much for watching. Peace out.